Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Angela. I am a full-time voiceover artist and audiobook narrator, and my channel is dedicated to those of you that are just getting started out in this wonderful world of voiceover. And through my channel, I answer your questions and share with you some of the techniques and tips and tricks that I use every day in my own voiceover business. So what I was going to go over today was I've got an awful lot of questions about audiobook narration recently. I know a lot of people are at home and they're looking for another way to generate some income, or they want to do this full time. Either way, I have a really good mix of people that I talk to on a daily basis that have, just lots of different questions about audiobook narration in general. So today I'm going to go over some of those particular questions. So if you're ready, I'm ready. Let's get into it. Okay, so the first question that I'm going to answer is a question that I hear a lot, and that is audiobook narration competitive? And my answer to that is there is a lot of narrators, but there's also a lot of authors. There's a lot of publishing houses. There's a lot of people that on the same hand as, people wanting to narrate books from home, there's a lot of people, an increasing number of people that are at home writing books. With the advent of self-publishing that, Amazon makes it so darn easy to publish your own book, there are a lot more authors on the market today. And a lot of those authors would like an audiobook version of their book. So even though there are quite a few narrators, also increasingly, there's more and more narrators every day. There's more and more authors that are putting their titles up for audiobook narration every day. So it is competitive. However, there seems to be right now plenty of work for everyone. And then you also have to keep in mind that not everybody can do accents. Not everybody can, or even just has a particular accent. Authors would want a British accent or an English accent, or they need specific accents for some of their characters in their book, and not all of us can do accents, right? I am admittedly not the best with accents, but I can do them if they're a short character dialogue, but it's really hard for me to sustain an accent throughout an entire book, and I'm upfront and honest about that, and I suggest that you are as well. And not every author wants a female. Not every author wants a male. Not every author wants a teenager to read their book, and not every author wants an older middle-aged person to read their book. There are lots of different types of voices for lots of different types of reads and stories and authors. They all have their own preference, right? So there's plenty of work for all of us. Another question is, what makes a good audiobook narrator? And if you've watched any of my other videos, I say this a lot, but you have to have a passion for audiobook narration. You have to enjoy books. You have to be able to tell the story and to convey what the author has written down, right? It doesn't matter what your voice sounds like if you are understandable, if you have the ability to emote and to, give the characters life, or just to tell the story. If you have a passion and an ability to tell a good story, you can be an audiobook narrator. There is no limit on age or, gender or race or accents. There's no lit on any of that to be an audiobook narrator. Whoever you are, you can be an audiobook narrator. You just have to have a passion for books and know how to tell a good story. That's about it. Oh, and then maybe some technical ability. If you intend to produce the books by yourself, you need to be able to learn your DAW and to be able to effectively produce your audio files to the audiobook distributor's standards for the files. But other than that, really, there is no limit on any kind of standards to be an audiobook narrator. Another question is, how do you break into audiobook narration? The easiest way to do that is to get on ACX. All right, ACX is a sister arm of Amazon, which we all know of. And it is where the books that you hear on Audible, This is where the authors and the narrators come together to make an audiobook. But ACX is not the only platform. There are a few others. There's Audiobooks Unleashed, there's Ahab, there is Findaway, there is a handful of other audiobook distributors that you can reach out to either get on their roster or to sign up to be an audiobook narrator. There's also LibriVox.org if you're not interested in making money with these audiobooks, but more or less just giving back. LibriVox is a great way to get started also. That is, you're donating your time and your narration skills to read books in the public domain. That is a very noble cause. And there are also other opportunities to find audiobooks on other pay-to-play websites like voices.com, Voice123, Bidalgo. I think I've pretty much seen audiobook work on all of these voiceover platforms, including the freelance marketplace websites like Fiverr, like Upwork, like Guru, like freelancer.com. There are a lot of these websites where you can find audiobook work. Another question is, how much money can I make as an audiobook narrator? Do we get paid? Of course you get paid. There are a few different ways that you can get paid in narrating audiobooks, and one of them is royalty share. Now, royalty share is where you share in the sale proceeds of the book with the author. For example, if you were working through ACX, 40% of those proceeds from the audiobook sale are split between you and the author. So essentially, you get 20% of the sale of each book of that audiobook for the next 7 years. Then you have Royalty Share Plus, which is a kind of a hybrid way of doing things. It's a per finished hour, which is typically a smaller amount, which is like a flat fee per finished hour of audiobook narration, plus royalty share. So these are typically seen on some of the bigger books. So you would earn for example, a $50 per finished hour for like a 3-hour book. So you would earn $150 plus the 20% in royalties from that book sale for the next 7 years. And then you have the pay for production or per finished hour. So again, if your rate is $50 per finished hour on a 3-hour audiobook or a 30,000 word audiobook, you would make $150 and you would not receive any royalties going forward. That is a buyout, and that is what you make on that book. So yes, you can make money on audiobooks depending on your rate and how you decide to get paid. So yes, you can absolutely make a very good living with narrating audiobooks. But again, it also depends on how big the books are and how long it takes you to narrate, edit, format, and submit them each month. So keep that in mind. Another question is, do I have to be an actor to narrate audiobooks? Absolutely not. I mean, it helps to have some classes, maybe an improv class or an acting class, to help you give the characters life, to help you get into the shoes of that character or the narrator's shoes in order to properly convey the story that you are trying to convey, to give the author's word the life that it needs. That definitely helps, but it's not necessary. If, again, you have the ability to tell a good story and to take what is written down and make sense of it and deliver it as a cohesive thought or plot or story, then you are able to narrate an audiobook. And then finally, the biggest question that I get quite a bit is basically, how do I know if I can? Am I good enough to narrate audiobooks? And I have to be honest with you, a lot of us have this, what is called imposter syndrome. And that is believing that you don't have what it takes, that you're a fraud, that you don't think that you can be as good as, this narrator over here that you've heard before. And all I can say to you that becoming better at narrating audiobooks just takes time and practice, which is why I always say, just do it, right? Because in doing it, you learn and you grow. You learn not only how the best way to approach a very long paragraph and where to pause and take your breaths and all of that, but also the technical side. If you produce your own audiobooks, you learn your DAW, you learn what the effects can do and what they can't do, and you start to streamline your process so it becomes faster and easier, and narrating audiobooks just becomes almost second nature. You turn on that mic and you deliver the story and you get into character and you just make this book just come to life. And the author is happy, the listeners are happy, but you don't know what you can do unless you just do it, right? Don't sit and think, my voice is horrible. No one's ever going to listen to me. I'm never going to be able to do this right. I can't get the technical stuff right. Well, listen, there does come a time where you need to just put your foot down, take a deep breath, and just do it. You won't know, even if you like narrating audiobooks, until you try. You might think that this is just the bee's knees, narrating audiobooks, and then you give it a try and you decide that it's just too much work, or that it's not really what you thought it was going to be and you decide to not pursue it. But if you do it and you absolutely adore it, and you have the patience and the ability to learn all of the technical aspects of your DAW, you could absolutely do it. Again, there's no standard for audiobook narrators as far as what they sound like. We represent the world, voice actors and audiobook narrators. We represent everyone in the world telling a story and telling it the way that you tell it, because no one can tell a story quite like you. With all of your experience that you have accumulated in your life and the way that you perceive the world around you, puts an extra special touch on that audiobook that no one else can replicate. Because how you deliver a certain line in an audiobook may be different from someone else, how they deliver that same line. No one can quite put the same touch on that audiobook as you can. So I encourage you, if you want to give this a try it, do it. You might just fall in love, and you might never be happier narrating audiobooks. So I hope that helps. I hope that I answered some of your questions. If you do have any more questions about narrating audiobooks or getting into audiobooks or even voiceover, please feel free to leave those questions down below. I really appreciate your time. If you'd like more information about me, my work, or how I can help you get started in voiceovers or audiobook narration, please check out my website at voiceoverangela.com. Again, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you sticking around and watching. If you found this video helpful, please hit that like and subscribe buttons. I appreciate that too. But until next time, I'll see ya. Bye.